Hello, hello. I'm Alden Alternay here with Tracy Corman and Janice Burt, and we are so excited about the amazing animal action Christmas comedy music extravaganza coming up this Sunday on the Gold Coast at the Quality Hotel Mermaid Waters. We have about 15 performers and speakers coming. It is going to be an extraordinary event, and everyone is donating their time, and all the proceeds are going to Healing Hooves Inc., as well as the Vinnie's CEO Sleep Out. So to let you know a little bit of what's on the agenda, we have Bobby Running Fox, a Cherokee Native American performer who's very well known on the Gold Coast. He'll be performing. We have, of course, the Fiddly Gigglers, myself and Tracy are the MCs. We're going to bring out some brand new material, and first time we're actually coming out in 3 years to do a live show. We have Glenn Barry, a Indigenous performer who's going to do an acknowledgement to country. We have Alana Fitzgerald and her band Hanky Panky, as well as the ABBA Tribute Experience. Plus, we have 5 comedians. We have Denzo, we have Jade Lucas, we have Cleo Sullivan, we have Dean Sheeran, and we have Johnny Winter. And Janice Burt's going to be talking on behalf of Healing Hooves Inc. and the work that she does there. So that's just some of the extraordinary people that we have coming. We're going to have thousands of dollars of raffle prizes as well. We're going to have some stalls, some displays of some really cool stuff as well, extra bonuses, which you're going to love. And so love you to join us. You can still get tickets for Sunday night, and we can still actually fit a few more tables of 10 in as well. So if you want to get a group together to get the table of 10 discount as well, I'll pop that link into the comments for you in just a moment. Hello, Yusufa. Nice to see you. Let us know if you're joining us right now on the live stream. Where are you joining us from? And what are you grateful for today? Let's lift the energy out there on the planet. Tracy, welcome. How are you feeling today?
Yeah, great, Aldrin. And of course, really, really looking forward to Sunday night. You know, we're coming up towards the end of the year. We can start relaxing and just really have a wonderful, happy time and see the year out that way. And what a lineup for Sunday night. Oh my goodness. Like really, really, we are blessed. Incredible. Going to be such a fantastic show with all the entertainment and the prizes, and just a really fun night.
Yes, it will be amazing. I can't wait. And we're going to have prizes for best dressed Christmas outfit as well. So you can come with bells on, literally, and go and have a whole lot of fun there. And Janice, now you're amazing. You've done a lot to support Healing Hooves Inc. Can you let us know a little bit about your background and how you got involved with Healing Hooves?
Yeah, hi Aldwin, and good morning, Tracy. I've had a beautiful journey with Healing Hooves. So just to give the people online and the viewers some context, Healing Hooves are a really important keystone charity on the Gold Coast. I've got 10 horses, and all of the horses have been rescued. So if Marianne and the Healing Hooves team didn't do the work that they do, these horses wouldn't be here. It's on a beautiful council parkland, so there's lots of other things to do at the facility. And I've got the blessed and grateful opportunity of running lots of programs to help people with the horses at Healing Hooves. So we help people from all walks of life, young children, people with disability, adults. We run some corporate groups. So really the horses never get it wrong, and people from all walks of life enjoy visiting the space and learning with us. My journey started with the horses and equine assisted learning 10 years ago. I've been to America twice because they're the experts at this work. So visited horse country, Kentucky, Colorado, and yeah, really excited and happy to be doing this work and looking forward to sharing what we do on Sunday and raising some money for the horses there.
Fantastic. And so when you do these programs, how does the format go? How do you work with the horses?
So first and foremost is always welcoming people into the space, and we create this beautiful container of non-judgment. So horses are completely honest, they're completely in the moment, and for lots of us, we can relate to being so busy and so drawn out in our humanness and trying to live up to expectations of what people think we should be doing or saying or living. So Our first visit to Healing Hooves is always what we call like a drop-in, welcome. We do a bit of a safety brief. We share how to work safely with the horses and how to make sure their well-being is always first and foremost. So the horses are all on a rehab journey, so we don't interact with some of them. And what we find over time is sometimes we get some really scared horses come in, and we show people how to work with them in a way that helps the well-being of the horse. So eventually the horses choose to come and interact with people. And we've got two at the moment where it's really, really powerful. So when they first arrived, people couldn't get within 50 meters of them. And now these two horses choose to come up and interact with people. So
Wow.
it's lots of fun. Generally, we do like a 1 hour session, and people will come back either weekly or fortnightly over a period of time, just say a school term.
Fantastic. And how do people respond? What do people say when they come and do these programs?
Every single human response possible. We get a lot of people who are initially quite afraid because they've either had an experience with horses or never been with them, or when they see them up close, there's some really small, cute ones and some really big ones. So we've got all different types of horses and personalities. So most people can really feel it. So it's not something that you can put words to. We've got this most magnificent, it's actually 2 trees out the back. It's called a thinking tree. So it's an enormous eucalyptus with a fig grafted around it, and it provides this beautiful shade. And what we find is when we take people under the thinking tree and the horses fall asleep sometimes around us, it's the most beautiful, peaceful experience that you could ever have.
Amazing. I must say I love horses. I think they are just so special. I've always loved horses as a kid too. And yeah, it's interesting, with Melbourne Cup and the racing, etc. I know there's some people that do some great work with horses that are in the racing industry. However, I must say I don't support races anymore personally. That's just my personal thing. I do say nup to the cup myself because I have seen I've seen horses die through Magic Millions and be seriously injured. And I personally don't think it's natural for horses to be pushed that way, to race like that. I think they probably like to run, but to actually race like that and be pushed, and I know a lot of them are drugged, etc. So I know that's a whole other thing. But these actual horses for Healing Hooves, these horses, they might have some physical ailments. Is that right? So what are some of the issues that you have there with the horses at Healing Hooves Inc.?
Yeah, so in my work and facilitating programs, I have a saying called "all of you is welcome here." And that means, the bits that you sometimes might not be so proud of, that goes for the horses as well. So we've got this beautiful range of horses with, there might be extra physical needs. We've got a lot of vision impaired horses, which really helps people come into their bodies and have a sense of awareness about where they put themselves. For example, when you're approaching a horse that can only see out of one eye, where do you put yourself and how do you think about the needs of that animal? We've got a few horses with some, they might be experiencing some pain in their legs because obviously they stand all the time, and if they've had injuries, they just have ongoing, physical therapy needs and things like that. And a lot of it, not dissimilar to humans, they've had some kind of trauma in their interactions with people throughout their lives too. So we do a lot of work with the emotional needs of the horses as well. So they're set up the same way as we are. They're social beings. So they have a pecking order, they have some social etiquette, and we learn a lot, and we do a lot of healing for both humans and horses in that regard.
Wow. And where do you find these horses?
A lot of them, there's a limit of 10 horses at the facility at Healing Hooves that Marianne manages, and a lot of the time it's word of mouth. So Marianne will get inquiries, and if we can't help them by giving them a spot at Healing Hooves, we have a massive network. So we always encourage people, even if the facility's full, to reach out if they know of an animal needing a new home or some help and support.
Okay, great. That's good to hear, because I must say nowadays I think the Currumbin Wildlife Hospital, 24-hour vets, even Animal Welfare League, I'm sure that they all do the best they can. However, in my experience, more times than not, and with other people I've spoken to, 9 out of 10 times when people take injured animals to these places, that often they will just choose to put the animal down because it's easier to just kill them rather than treat them. And I had an experience recently where I had a possum. I've had this possum at my place in Southport for years, I'd say 4 or 5 years, and it's had quite a few babies come through in that time, and it had a little scratch just under its eye, a little red scratch. And I went away for about a month. I came back, the scratch had turned, it had gone quite all around the eye. It was quite red and raw. And I thought, oh, that looks a bit odd. I wonder what that is. So I called Wildcare and they said, oh, that's dermatitis. That's very common with possums. It will keep spreading. So you do need to treat it with antibiotics. And I said, okay, well, what do we do? How can we humanely, do this? And I said, I don't want this possum to be put down. And so she brought a trap over, a very humane trap where they just have food on one end of this cage. And then when the possum goes to get the food, the door closes. Now, this particular mother possum had a baby with her, and the baby and the mother ended up in this trap. And I was kind of talking them through, going, so, okay, you'll be back soon, etc. And next day I got a text from the Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary from the wildcare lady that took the possums to Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary. And the text said, I'm so sorry, we've put the mother down because the dermatitis had eaten the eyelid and the eyelid wasn't going to grow back on one eye. Now, this possum was jumping around. It had the baby. It looked perfectly fine looking at it. And they put it down. The baby went into care with someone, but I was so upset by that. I was so upset that they chose to put that possum down because the eyelid wasn't going to grow back. Now, if we had a child and a child had a similar situation around where there was an eye issue and that child wasn't going to have an eyelid that grew back, would you actually kill that child? And yet more cases than not, a lot of people, I think, just it's too easy just to kill them off than to actually treat them. So it's really great to see Healing Hooves Inc. actually saving some of these horses where for others they might have thought, oh, it's just all too easy to put them down because they've got this issue where they're not sort of like the perfect looking animal. They've got one small health issue. They still have feelings, they still have emotions. Just because there's one little health ailment, I do believe in the power of self-healing, and I believe the power of animals even healing themselves. And now I'm going to be not rushing to go to any vets or to go to any animal sanctuaries at all with any pets unless I know they're totally ethical. And I know even with Animal Welfare League, they say, they don't euthanize any animals that can be treated or that don't have social issues. But even with social issues, animals can come good. Like you say, they might have issues, but then they can come good, right? And so I think it's really important to raise awareness about this. And I actually called the Gold Coast media about this issue. I was so upset I felt like I took this possum to its slaughter. It was like our pet possum at the house. And I thought, oh, how horrible, and the poor baby, and so I just felt, I thought I was doing the right thing by getting it treated with antibiotics, but no, they just chose to put it down. And so, I was very, very upset by that. And I guess, with a lot of people who deal with animals, it can be a very emotional journey. And now, Tracy, you've had quite a few animals too around your different locations where you've lived over the years. And I know there was even a horse, I believe. Was there a horse that you had, or was it a neighbouring horse you had once upon a time? Is that right? You've had some experience with horses?
I had a horse briefly, but I have loved dogs all my life.
Yes, so dogs have been your animal of choice. And I have a cat that I adopted 13 years ago. So I have a little 14-year-old cat that's very well loved and very happy cat, I must say. And I've never, since I adopted the cat at 1 year of age, I've never taken him to a vet ever. And he's a healthy, lovely cat. And I'm actually now a little bit scared even of going to vets because I just feel like they're just going to pull the needle out and want to kill them. That's how I feel. And that's probably not their intention, but I think they probably get overwhelmed. They don't know how to treat some animals, and it's just so easy to put them down. So Janice, what's your experience with that? Have you had any other experiences that you've noticed that kind of thing happen?
Yeah, there's a huge, and I guess it's similar to the racing industry. There's a huge conversation around the ethical management of animals, but I guess it comes down, and this is I've been through a lot and been through a lot with our animals, so I'm really strong in the regard of being the voice for them. So I have no, whenever I engage in care, because I believe in balance as well. Like I used to also work in biomedical systems, so there's the same, conversation that we can have with humans in healthcare, and doctors in Western medicine. So always I believe in balance, because the horses that we have at Healing Hooves all they receive constant veterinary care, but there's an understanding and communication and a relationship around the expectation of the care plan. And always it comes back down to Marianne, and often she'll pick up the phone and ask me, what do you think? This is where we're at. So we're not just relying on one person making decisions. So at the end of the day, the decision comes back to us. And often the gift that we have in Healing Hooves is time, right? So we give these horses time and to recover, to really show, and often the problem solves itself. And sometimes we can be in a real rush when we're engaging in care with veterinary practices to get to an outcome, or we think that we know the outcome. So the gift that Marianne and Healing Hooves gives a lot of these animals is time. And sometimes it is the time for the animals to go, and when they do go, they're surrounded by us, and it's incredibly emotional. So it's the most, it's the circle of life, right? But we always know if we come to the end of a road with an animal that we've absolutely done 110%, and we know in our hearts that animal knows love. So that's the greatest gift, whether it's a short or a long life, or
Yeah, beautiful. And we were actually crunching the numbers with Marianne today, and we worked out that it actually costs $4,000 a month, roughly, to feed the 10 horses, to look after them, for the vet care, for the hoof care, for all these different things that people don't think about with horses. It is actually, quite a costly exercise. The average horse, I believe, lives to about 30. Is that right?
Yeah, 30's a good old age. And as horse girls, we have this general rule that when we go to the produce, they must never tell us how much we've spent in total when we give them our account. But yeah, it does. It is a pretty significant financial responsibility to look after horses with some additional needs.
Absolutely. And Healing Hooves Inc. doesn't get any government support. They have to apply for funding if they do want any support in that way. So most of the money apparently comes from the community. Marianne said today that the best supporters are actually Australian Firefighter Calendar Guys, which is a Gold Coast-based project, the biggest selling calendar in the world. And in fact, they were very supportive of our dog event last year, where we raised funds for SEQ Canine Rescue. We had the Australian Firefighter calendars there for that event. And so thank you so much to those guys for their support. And I know they do calendars with the horses there too, which is wonderful. And different donations, sometimes wills, some money comes from wills, that kind of thing. So all the help I get, anything helps. And what we do with the animal action events, these have been going since 2007. It's all about awareness, appreciation, respect for animals. We have different animal causes through the years. This is the second time now we're raising funds for Healing Hooves Inc. And we like to keep things local where we can support the local charities. And I think this really is a fantastic one. And last time, a few years ago, we went out to see those horses, and we're actually going to head out there tomorrow as well. 10 o'clock tomorrow, we're going to do around that time, we'll be doing a video, photo shoot, etc. out there. So we'll introduce those. Stay tuned on social media to actually see some of these horses. And we'll be having a chat with Marianne tomorrow out at the sanctuary there, which will be amazing in Narang. What do you think, Tracy, about Healing Hooves from what you've seen? You've been out there as well a few years ago. And how did you find the experience going out and connecting with the horses there?
Really beautiful, just really beautiful. And I mentioned dogs before, but I absolutely have a fondness for horses all my life. The koalas, the elephants, the chimpanzees. But yes, the horses, growing up watching Black Beauty. Yeah, I think that's when it started. But yeah, Healing Hooves, really beautiful what they have out there.
Yeah, and it all helps. Every little bit helps. And that's the thing. Sometimes with animal causes and with other causes, and Vinny's CEO Sleep Out, we'll talk about that in a second. With some of these causes, you think about the homeless, you think about, people who've been sexually abused. I mean, there's so many good causes out there where people are doing their best to help. And sometimes we can kind of throw our arms up and go, oh my gosh, it's such a big issue. How could I help as little old me? However, every little thing we do does help. And that was the whole concept of the animal action events back in the day, is if everyone just does something, we can make a difference for animals. And that's the whole point. And it could be even going down to the Healing Hooves location and connecting with some of these horses, even just watching them, just meditating and watching them naturally out there. And Janice, is there certain times that are good to go and see the horses? Can the public just go down there, or do they have to book? How does it work?
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody, so the parkland is free to go to whenever the parkland's open. So it's at Country Paradise Parkland in Nerang. Then I suggest, if you want to book a time with the horses, to reach out to Marianne. So there's the Healing Hooves Facebook page. The number is on the front gate, and it's general business hours, so I think 9 till 3 on weekdays. And the team there are all really accommodating, depending on your needs. There's different programs, and there's meet and greet the horses. So yeah, reach out to Healing Hooves on social media, or head down, and the phone number's on the gate.
Okay, beautiful. I'll pop those links in the chat here. And while I'm doing that now, Tracy, you've been a great supporter of the Vinny's CEO Sleep Out. Is it since 2015? Is that correct?
2015, I recall, yes.
Yes, 2015. Now, this is, of course, helping the homeless, and it is quite a big issue, isn't it? What's the numbers of homeless at the moment?
120,000 people Australia-wide tonight are homeless.
120,000 people Australia-wide. Now, I remember a few years ago it used to be 100,000, and so obviously that's gone up in the last few years. And I would say it's also, a worldwide issue, not just Australia. However, just in Australia, 120,000 people, that's a hell of a lot of people homeless. And Vinny's CEO Sleep Out is our second charity. And this is actually the first time in the 16-year history of the animal action events that we've actually got another charity other than an animal charity. And the reason is because we're combining forces this year for the first time in 16 years with the Gold Coast Business Laughter Club, which is something Tracy and I set up back in 2018. And the whole idea was to decrease depression and suicide rates among business people, because a lot of business people get way too serious, they work themselves to the ground, etc. So the collaboration this year has led to the two charities being the cause this year, which is really, really cool. So can you let us know, Tracy, a little bit more? What does Vinny's CEO Sleep Out do? What's the concept, and how does it work?
Yeah, so it's one night each year in June, and CEOs around Australia will sleep out in the cold. 1 in 200 people are homeless in Australia. And in the last few years, the last 3 years, of course, there is so many more. A lot of those are children now. And so Vinny's CEO Sleep Out does an extraordinary job in raising funds and supporting the homeless.
Amazing. And how many people actually come and sleep out for the night? How many CEOs do you get down there?
I think 200.
Okay.
I think 200.
Okay.
I need to check on that figure.
All right.
About 200. It's a fantastic fundraising event.
Okay. Brilliant.
It's actually Vinny's signature event now for raising funds for the homeless.
Yeah, amazing. Wow, that's awesome. And so if people want to support Healing Hooves or Vinny's CEO Sleep Out, where do they go for Vinny's CEO Sleep Out?
I'll actually have a link so they can in the new year they'll start seeing my profile, Tracy Corman, Tracy with an E, Corman with a K, on Facebook. They'll find that, or they can go directly to vinnies.org.au, or check me out on Facebook. And I start my fundraising about the end of January.
Okay, great. All right, that's really good. And the Healing Hooves website seems to be down at the moment. Do you know much about that, Janice, at the moment, the Healing Hooves website? I'm just trying to copy the link, but it seems to be an error with it.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the website, Orwin. I think Facebook's really reliable to if people want to reach out to through the Facebook page, they can send Marianne a message.
Yeah, the Facebook page is good, and we will look into that website. So I won't pop that in here at this stage because it doesn't seem to be working there. However, I will pop the Vinnie's CEO Sleep Out one in there directly, so you can check that one out. Here it is here, facebook.com/Vinnie's CEO Sleep Out, and the Healing Hooves Inc. one, you'll find facebook.com/Healing Hooves Inc. You will find that there. Now, Janice, were you at our last event we did for Healing Hooves a few years ago? Were you there at Quality Hotel?
No, I wasn't. No.
You weren't. Okay. Well, you're in for a real treat. You know, the animal action events, we always have amazing people come, amazing connections. In fact, one of our previous events, we had two people from Melbourne who hadn't seen each other in 20 years that reconnected at an animal action event. So those kind of connections can happen and do happen. And we have always beautiful heart-centered people who are just amazing. So I think it's going to be such a special night. I know some of the people coming, we've got some extraordinary people coming. So excited about who's going to be there on Sunday night. And it really is a celebration. It's a time to give back for Christmas as well, and a time to help those less fortunate and those in need. And they say there's no greater purpose than being of service. And every time we give, law of reciprocity, it always comes back tenfold, right, in other ways, etc. So I really want to thank everyone who is involved with the Animal Action event, and everyone from the Gold Coast Business Laughter Club who supported that as well. Denzo's been amazing. He's put together all the comedians. Alana Fitzgerald has organised all the performers. Tracy's putting all the raffle lists together. You've got a big raffle list there too, Tracy. Who have we got on the? What have we got on the raffle list there for some of the things?
Look, we've got life coaching vouchers. We've got beautiful books, life-changing books. We've got a media session program with you, Aldwin. Goodness me.
I'm a massage. I know there's a massage as well, 1 hour massage we've got.
That's right. Yeah. Skyrocket Your Success in 2023, 1-day workshop. We've got gift vouchers for the singles. I'm yet to complete the final, list of these prizes. But there's some great prizes up for grabs on Sunday night.
Yes, fantastic. And it's going to be really great having comedians as well with the show this year. As I say, we've never done this before, where we had the comedians plus the entertainers plus the musicians, etc. And normally every event we've had world-class performers, and this year will be no exception, right? Some of these performers have done some massive gigs in the past. We've got the ABBA show, of course, is going to be a lot of fun. And, Bobby Running Fox is very deep, and he's an amazing healer himself. He's a medicine man, and, his drumming and what he does, I believe, is going to really move people. So we're going to be going through quite a few emotions. We'll be laughing. We'll be getting into some deep states. We'll be dancing. So bring your dancing shoes, and it really will be such a fun night. Now, Janice, is there anything else you would like to share about Healing Hooves particularly, or about your coaching business and what you do?
I'm just really excited for Sunday night, and I can't wait to, Marianne said, Janice, would you like to take the microphone on Sunday night? I was like, yes, give me the microphone.
Awesome.
So you might have to do a dingling to get me off the stage, because once I start talking about the important work that we do on a daily basis down there, it just lights me up, and you can't help but feel your heart fill up from some of the stories and experiences that people have. And what a beautiful partnership to have the CEO Sleep Out at the same event. We do some work for veterans and their healing, and the homeless rate in our veteran population is massively overrepresented. We also work with a lot of kids in out-of-home care, so children that have been removed from their families. So that's kind of a lot of them, we help change their path and give them a brighter future and some hope for some things that they might engage in when they finish school. So yeah, really excited for Sunday night. I've got a good story about Glenn Barry, who's also on the DIG, I believe. So Glenn's done some work with me this year. We had one mental health day for a local school, and we had 1,200 kids. It was a bit of a stitch up.
Wow.
Glenn definitely worked that day, but it was such a good day. So good
Yeah,
lineup on
Glenn.
Sunday. Really encourage
Yes.
everyone to come down and support these charities.
Yes, Glenn Barry is extraordinary, and his didgeridoo playing is phenomenal. And you know, we've had our faces painted with ochre and all sorts of things with Glenn, and he's got beautiful artwork as well. He's also a very talented artist, so he's got a great collection of artwork there. So yes, Glenn is extraordinary. We have some phenomenal performers and some phenomenal people coming, so very, very exciting. And Four Corners Coaching, what other sort of coaching do you do as well?
We also work with dogs. So we've heard Tracy mention her love with dogs. So we do an in-service for a lot of local schools. We take our wellbeing dogs there, and we run a program called Beyond Resilience, which is really about, you know, the current kind of philosophy around resilience is that grit. And, you know, you get knocked down, you get back up, you get knocked down, you get back up, but that's kind of exhausting. So what we're giving people in our coaching programs now is tools to get a bit of ahead of the game, and let's not get knocked down to start with. So
Yes.
we're running some really cool coaching programs in our Beyond Resilience mindset, which is exciting. We're using the dogs. We use a lot of complementary care as well. We do a lot of teamwork at the moment, a lot of corporate sessions. Yeah, lots of cool stuff happening in Four Corners Coaching, and it's taken a beautiful turn in the last 6 months. So looking forward to what the next 12 months is going to bring, and also our partnership with Healing Hooves. So yeah, beautiful. I think this year we've managed around $6,000 contribution to Healing Hooves through our partnership there. So
great.
Yeah, it's really exciting, the work that we can do when we run a conscious business and think about, as we're doing business, who in the community can we partner with and help.
Yes.
Being a social enterprise, so to speak, or have a social angle there. I think that's wonderful. Being, as I would say, I'm a social entrepreneur. Definitely, there's a lot that I do to give back, as I know Tracy does as well. And in fact, everyone is donating their time on Sunday night, which is extraordinary. You know, everyone is putting in here for the community, which is just wonderful. And it's just going to be such a great community get together, and great way to actually get out of the house, get off your computers, and actually come out and have a boogie with us and connect with people face to face. There's nothing quite like that, you know, as much as these online events had their place, there's nothing quite like really connecting with people and giving people a hug and all those sort of things. So there will be some tickets available at the door as well, although if you can get them beforehand, that's always a better way to go. So on Eventbrite, for those watching, Eventbrite has the ticket link, and we have the event also promoted on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Meetup, which also has the links to tickets as well. So we'd rather people, you know, get tickets beforehand. We will have some catering there. We're going to have quite a few platters of food coming out, and so it's good to know exactly how many will come for seating arrangements, etc. So please do hop along. And, you know, Gold Coast is typical for leaving things to the last minute. And so I know that we will get a rush of last minute people coming through. 7 to 11 p.m. this Sunday on the Gold Coast. And for those who aren't on the Gold Coast, you can also support it with a live stream option. We are going to be live streaming the event as well. Okay, so you can actually go online. You can support with the live stream ticket, or you can donate directly to the causes. If you can't attend as well, you can support it that way. You can donate directly to Healing Hooves Inc. or directly to Vinnie's CEO Sleep Out on that Eventbrite ticket link, which we've shared here in the chat, or just go to Eventbrite, look up Animal Action Christmas Comedy Music Extravaganza, and you'll find it there. Now, Janice, for anyone who's at home watching this that might have an animal that is not behaving well, and often if it's not behaving well, it's often something to do with the owners. However, we'll put that aside for the moment, because animals are often like their owners, right? So what would you suggest? What tips could you give people around having some well-behaved animals and having animals that go from maybe anxious to loving?
Great question, Alvin. And I was immediately going to say they pick up so much from us, and that includes my own animals. Sometimes if they're not behaving in a way I might like, I check myself first. But The best and foremost advice I can give is not to humanize them. So talk their language. Yeah. So horses are a prey animal. They're social beings. So, and their primary language is body language, right? They can read our body language 7 times quicker than we can.
Oh.
So a lot of the problems that we see in behaviors in animals is we got to, it's so simple. You go back to basics. How would they be in nature? Oh, they need to be together with each other. They need food in their bellies, like almost 100% of the time. So with dogs, they're predators. So a lot of behavior issues that we see in dogs is same thing. They're a pack animal. If we're expecting them to be alone for long times, how do we keep them stimulated? And with dogs, you've got to socialize well too. You have to, the leadership for both species, dogs and horses, to be the leader is first and foremost. The suggestion to check on any behavior. If you're the strong leader in the household, most behaviors just dissolve.
And how do you assert your leadership?
Body language, and the big heart. Learn how to get grounded and take a deep breath. So sometimes we can start to run stories about our animals that are so powerful, and it's actually got nothing to do with the animal. Yeah, and it's lots of fun to humanize our pets, right? To start to have a story about what they're thinking or doing. But if you take the emotion out of it and just connect with your heart, the solution's often there. And if problems get going, get expert help. Like find someone who's managing their animal in a way, or someone that you aspire towards, and just ask for help. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
There's
great.
a lot of ethical and good animal handlers out there.
Yeah. I could say from my own experience with the cat that I adopted, Tiger, he was about 1.5 years when I adopted him. He was very anxious. In fact, the minute I got him, he basically jumped up really high and went up on top of the window ledge on one of my high windows at my house. He was that anxious. And what had happened with him is he'd been left alone in a unit by himself on his own. Then he also got attacked by dogs. So the poor little cat, he was, so stressed. However, now I can say, honestly, 14 years on, he's the most beautiful cat. You can actually pick him up and hug him like this, and sometimes he meows when he just wants a hug. Sometimes not for food, sometimes he just wants a hug. And so I know when he's meowing, he either wants food or he wants a hug. And so I always find love is always a beautiful thing. Give lots of love. And humans and animals, human animals and animals, we all want lots of love. And so the more love and kindness we can give, that energy that we can give the animals, is really important. And I see sometimes people yelling at animals. Now, yelling at an animal, I don't think that is a good idea, because that energy is very aggro. Would you agree with that, Janice?
To a degree, yeah. So we do use, when we're teaching, and even with my own animals, when I'm teaching students, we do use tone of voice as a tool, right? Because it's part of our body language, but it's never with emotion. So, for example, I've got a puppy at the moment. He's going to be our next working dog. He's 5 months old. And the older dog will growl him. It's a really deep, like he uses his voice, and it's kind of would be equivalent to my yelling. But if I use my voice as a tool with my animal training, it's never with emotion. It's never like, it doesn't come with a story. It's just, it's just sound. So so definitely yelling at your animal is not ideal. And they actually worked with a rescue horse that had been in an environment where he had a lot of negative stories and yelling projected onto him. And that horse absolutely took it all on and knew that was what was happening. Like, it's hard to fully explain, but I absolutely agree never yell or speak negative or hurtful words onto anything, human or animal. But we definitely can use the tone of our voice as a tool in training.
Yes, got it. That's a very good distinction. Thank you so much for that. Now, we do need to wrap up now in just a moment. So for people who want to connect with your coaching business, Janice, where can they go?
Facebook page. So it's on Facebook as Four Corners Coaching, or just www.fourcornerscoaching.com.au on the website.
Okay, great.
I'm often at Healing Hooves, so also if you just come down and visit Healing Hooves, I'm there a lot as well.
Okay, great. Fantastic. So Four Corners Coaching, check it out on Facebook. I'll see if I can pull that up. And for you, Tracy, where can people connect with you?
Facebook, Tracy with an E, Corman with a K, and for the singles, toosecompany.com.au.
Okay, beautiful. So here we are, Four Corners Coaching. We've got that here. We'll pop all those links in here for you. And your prizes you're giving away, what are you giving away for the raffle there, Tracy?
Yes, I've got 2 months free membership with any membership for a single who is seeking genuine companionship to long-term partner. So a great way to start off a new year.
Wonderful.
And there's 4 of those prizes.
Okay, nice. All right. And the value of those?
It depends on the membership, Aldwyn.
Okay.
That the person chooses to enroll in.
Okay. All right, beautiful. Okay, well, they can support you. They can go on their Two's Company Australia-wide on Facebook, or Two's Company on Facebook, and, of course, Four Corners Coaching, Healing Hooves. Check that out. All my links for those who want to connect with me is at my linktree/Aldwyn, which is linktr.ee/Aldwyn. Any final words from either of you before we wrap up this live stream today?
We're going to have a fantastic night on Sunday night. Those that want to just relax and be entertained and feel loved and feel the love and have some fun, that's the place to be on Sunday night. I'm sure of it.
Yes, absolutely. There will be nowhere else you will want to be. And if you don't come Sunday night, you're going to regret it on Monday, I can assure you. When you see the socials and things going out, you know, this is a once-a-year event, these animal action events. Gold Coast Business Laughter Club we haven't done for 3 years. And, you know, it's really special to come back in person and connect with all these phenomenal people again. So can't wait. Janice, any final words from you?
Just a big giddy up for Sunday night from me.
Yeah, giddy up, giddy up, giddy up. We will see you there. Thank you once again. Thanks for coming on, Janice. Thank you, Tracy, the other half of the fiddly gigglers. Wait till you see what we get up to, what mischief we get up to on Sunday night.
Oh, my goodness.
And thank you so much to all of our performers, Hanky Panky, Lana Fitzgerald, Fiddly Gigglers, of course, us, yes, Bobby Running Fox, ABBA Tribute Experience, Glenn Barry, Janice, of course, thank you. You're going to be speaking. Come and hear more from Janice on Sunday night. Jade Lucas, Denzo, Cleo Sullivan, Dean Sheeran, and Johnny Winter. Thank you so much. And for everyone who's donated a raffle prize, and everyone who's actually supported all of the animal action events and all the Gold Coast Business Laughter Club events in the past, we thank you so much. It really means a lot to us, and every little bit helps. And I always say in my press releases for the animal action events, together we can all make a difference. Thank you so much. Blessings to you. We look forward to seeing you there Sunday night. And thank you for those who've joined the live stream. Dinesh, thank you for your lovely comments here. Nobody's like you, Aldwyn, on this planet. Love and regards. Thank you so much. Well, nobody's like any of us, Dinesh. In fact, we are all unique. And I really appreciate your lovely comments. And no one is like you watching this right now either. You are special. And so are each of these horses and each of the homeless people out there that we're going to be helping on Sunday night. Thank you so much for joining us. And Marianne as well, watching this, thank you for your extraordinary work there at Healing Hooves Inc. as well. Lots of love. We will see you again soon, and hopefully Sunday night we'll see you there. Thank you so much. Lots of love. Have a beautiful day or night, and see you there. Bye for now.